Assalamu alaikum. So the need for learning the Arabic language, is it important? It's definitely important, but I think in this day and time, I think it kind of boils down to the individual. One have to ask themselves, what do they want to learn it for? Some people in communities where there's not a lot of Arabic speaking going on, there's really not a lot of book reading going on, or classes and stuff that require it. So what does a person even need it for? This, and I'm speaking from the mentality that I'm starting to see in people. What do I need it for? Some people just want the alphabet and connect it so that they could read Quran. Connect the letters while they reading the Quran. So this just leads to some people don't want to pay for it. Like, they don't want to pay for classes. So I've been asked, can a person learn to Arabic on their own with just books and stuff? You can, but it's going to take a whole lot of work. You can't be Caslan. You can't be late. You can't be a lazy person, and you have to take the education serious. I started off with some self-study, and I ran into roadblocks. I'll say this, but it's always a teacher that can point out certain things. But for some self-studies, the Medina books, 1, 2, and 3, right? With these, you won't completely learn the Arabic language, but you will learn grammar, which is important when it comes to understanding the Quran and books of hadiths and the books of science, right? So, when I first started off, this and it was called My First 100 Words in Arabic. And it was another one, but they came together in a little set. Real thin books, probably about 60, 70 pages. I actually gave them away after I completed them, right? But with this, I started off by myself. So you could start off by yourself, but this is where the roadblock is. Well, you can do these books by yourself, right? Let me put you on game. So when I started doing them by myself, the roadblocks that I ran into, like right here, where it has instructions on what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like this one, Ikra wa aktub mad dabut wa akra kalimat, right? Where it's basically saying read and write with the correct ending of the word, basically, right? But when I didn't know that, I didn't know what to do. So I could put the words together and read what I thought they meant, and this is only like a few pages in. Once you get past some of your little basic couple of words and vocabulary, so when you get to parts in the book where it has instructions, you don't know how to follow the instructions. You see what I'm saying? So what happened is when I ended up getting a teacher because I did my first 100 words, right? So once I ended up getting a teacher and we got to the end of the book, and see this is something I didn't know. when we got to the end of the book, I didn't know that in the end of the book, they had an English section. So the English section actually give you the instructions on what you're supposed to be doing. You just have to understand where it says what lesson you on. You see what I'm saying? So you line up your lessons with where you at in the book, like lesson 11, right? When you look at lesson 11, then it'll give you the instructions of what you should be doing with the words. So if you got the aleph bet ta and you know how to connect, it doesn't necessarily give you you're going to need some basic translation too. As a matter of fact, hold on. I'm not sure. Hold on. Now, so yeah, even in the back, in the English part, it gives you a little bit of translation on what it is that you're saying and how to put the sentences together. So you could get a little somewhere and then break down your vocabulary words and some translations. So you could get through them by yourself and you don't want to spend money. But this just get your grammar together. On YouTube, you might be able to find 30, 40 different people teaching these, right? And when I started dealing with the teachers, they, the foreigners, they would refer to it as the city book. And I would be like, the city book? Because Medina also means city. So they would call them the city books. And then when they would put it up on a PDF, and I recognized it because I made it, even when I couldn't understand the instructions, I just did what I thought it meant. So I was close to halfway through it. But then when I learned the instructions, just getting familiar with the words and looking them up in a dictionary. So, and then, so like sometimes you will see it listed as Durus, Lughatu Arabiya. And the funny thing to me was, although I was dealing with them, and then they would be like, "We're gonna study Durus Lughatu Arabiya," and then when they would put it up on the PDF, I would be like, "Man, that look like the Medina books," because I didn't know that it says Durus Lughatu Arabiya, Durus Lughatu Arabiya in Arabic on the top. That's really the name of these, Durus Lughatu Arabiya, what we refer to as the Medina books. So, also for English speakers, remember I said I had the 100 books. I mean the book where it said my first 100 words, and it was done by Jane Whitewick and Mahmoud Ghafoor, and they do a form of what's called MSA, Modern Standard Arabic. It's Fusha, but it has modern words in it for like television, telephone. You understand? Certain things that they didn't have during that time, right? So they do their books, right? They really gear towards the American because they teach you the language and expand your language the way that it was done for us in elementary. Like we knew how to speak and talk because we was around our parents and we done went through kindergarten, your preschools and all of that, right? But the way they expanded our vocabulary and taught us how to put sentences together, by them being, one of them being American and an educator, they format their books like that. So they got like Mastering Arabic 1 and Mastering Arabic 2, and then they'll come with a CD. Although they don't have CDs where you can listen anymore. I mean, you don't really have stuff where you can listen to CDs anymore. So just to give you an example, some of the things that they do. Like writing exercises. Teach you how to write, right? So it teach you how to write the letters. And it move you along slowly, right? And then right here, you go through a circle where you recognize the letters they tell you to reach. I mean, to look for, writing practices, just different things like this, where you just learning to recognize it. And you don't really necessarily need a teacher. And then, like, it'll progress you on where you can read sentences, put paragraphs together. Then you put in here whether it's correct, whether it's wrong, what was the mistake. You don't necessarily need a teacher for this. The book is very instructive. This is the activity workbook, and it kind of goes along with book 1, which book 1 has activities in it as well. But it really moves you along. So like, you may be able to find this stuff on a PDF, but you're gonna have to spend some kind of money on books or the classes where they had a PDF. And I will admit, some of the classes that I'm starting to see now, they're getting outrageous. Because some people, they're making a living off teaching Arabic and teaching people to recite the Quran. To me, some of the prices is getting outrageous. So some of the drawbacks of self-study is you lack somebody to conversate with. Hold on, let me point out another book they got. So this is Mastering Arabic Part 2. I done part 1, I haven't did Part 2. But you can see they come with CDs in them, which alhamdulillah, I still got something where I can listen to it, but you got to get your ears used to listening. So they also have a set like this, but it's like 5 books, only needed 3. Where your Arabic verb tenses, your Arabic pronouns and prepositions, really how to put your sentences together and recognize, and then your Arabic vocabulary. Same people did the same books, right? And when you take a look on the inside, now sometimes with books like this, so you'll see your vocabulary. You want to memorize your vocabulary words, right? And then what they'll do is start to see them in sentences, and then you have to circle what's the correct sentence. Put some sentences together. Now the only drawback in this is sometimes the Arabic is a little small. So I have stuff like this. You can order like a pack of like 5 of these for like $2 in like Amazon, and also these. So what this is basically a magnifying glass. It magnifies the whole page, and this is a bookmark, but it's also a magnifying glass. You see what I'm saying? So you can make the Arabic bigger. But the point is, you have to put in a lot of work. Like, you really have to do the work. When you don't have a partner, you have to learn to talk to yourself. Now, like I said, these are some things that I started off doing on my own without a teacher. So once I got into a class, it actually helped. And I was able to hop right into a class and progress to this book 2. Well, I can use book 2, it don't matter. This right here is Arabiya Baini Yadayk, which is similar, You see how you draw dots and connect words, put things together. The only thing is, if you don't know how to understand the instructions in Arabic, you will need a teacher for that. You see what I'm saying? You will need a teacher for the instructions. You know, it has conversations, right? You put your conversations together, then you look at your instructions, which like how to say, unzur, wastama wal aid, look, listen, and repeat. So you listen to the CD. These also come with CDs. Now the only thing is, this isn't like the Medina book. There's no English section that's going to give you the instructions. So you'll need a teacher for that. And it deals with life. It teaches you some deen. But very beneficial. Very, very, very beneficial. It has, as you can see, like right here, it has an exam. This is one of the exams and homework at the end of each section. So the only thing I say, the drawback with this, when I started to conversate with people, once the conversation wasn't like in accordance with this dialogue, sometimes I couldn't put my words together, because this already give you the sentence structure. You know what I'm saying? Like it give you the whole dialogue. So if you're having a conversation and it break that dialogue, you might have to pause a little bit and be like, hold on, can you repeat that? Or you'll be like, figuring out which words to put in those sentences. And that's where like books like these that really help, because they move words around and they mix and match and you go through different vocabulary. So, yes, you can. And then with Airbnb your date, also on YouTube. Like even if you don't even want to buy the book, there's numerous people that go through Airbnb your date on YouTube. There's some that even go all the way up to book 4. And see, I got the whole volume, so occasionally, sometimes I just like to go to different people that teach it, and then listen to their teaching methods, and see who a good teacher, see who isn't, because I'm going to be honest, I had some good teachers and I had some bad teachers. A good teacher is going to interact with you. So like when it's a conversation, they're going to read one line, then you read one line, and then they're going to switch, and then they might have you do it faster, right? And then they might close the book and say, or cover up the page, now we're going to have that conversation without looking in the book. This is what helps your listening skills and being able to recognize the conversation. I'm not going to say a bad teacher, but some teachers who do this for a living and they eat off how long you're in class, they may just have you read everything to them and then they'll correct you when you're wrong. I've had a teacher who done that with me, and then what I ended up noticing was when I went to talk to somebody and they talked back to me, I couldn't recognize what they were saying. But if I read the exact same thing, it was just like I was talking. So like I said, I could read it fluently. But if somebody said the same thing to me, I couldn't recognize it because I wasn't used to listening to it, or it would take me a long time to put all the words together, or I would have to tell them to talk slower. And it took for me to get another teacher to break that down to me. So sometimes with a teacher, they able to give you those little jewels and different things that you don't know if you haven't really been in a class, and then some of them won't use a lot of English because they're going to teach you Arabic in Arabic to get you used to recognizing those words. And then you have to be able to say that word you use, what was it, so I can write it down and how to translate it. You know, you got to take a lot of notes. You just got to put the work in. You know, you really got to put the work in if you really, really, really want to get it. And like I said, with these books right here, there's a lot of reading and writing because you have to fill in blanks. You have to put sentences together. When you get through a certain level on Bania Dake, you actually have to write essays. I'm only in this level, the green books, right? So, and then I paused in the class, so I'm probably finna start back taking them again, possibly after Ramadan. But I seen some people on YouTube, they're just reading through it, the green books. So sometimes I follow along and listen to them because I'm really just trying to get my listening skills up. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the most important things is listening skills and reading quickly with comprehension, because if you read slow, you're going to conversate slow. You're going to hear it slow. You see what I'm saying? So like I say, it's some things, you give me a book, I could be like, but then a person could say those exact same things to me, and it might take me a minute. I have to be like, hold on, wait, slow down. You know what I'm saying? Depending on because their Arabic might not be as clean. So yes, you can get somewhere studying on your own. You truly can. I know some people who got the Arabic Bania Dake and became fluent in 7 months without a teacher. They started off with a teacher for the first book, and they learned the format and got a dictionary, and then they became fluent in conversation because, like I said, they got CDs, but they also had other people around because they was in a Muslim, Arab-speaking country, the Arabic-speaking country. They was in Egypt. So we're not with people speaking the dialect, but people were speaking Fusha as well, other students. They're able to conversate every day and get fluent. So find you somebody who want to do it with you so that you can have somebody to conversate with and bounce it off. Like I said, with the Arabic Bania Dake, very beneficial. But in the beginning, my conversations wasn't fluent because I only knew the sentence structure. I only knew how to say it the way that it's worded in the book. You see what I'm saying? Like let's say in one sentence it'll say, I woke up this morning. Right? I could say I woke up this morning. But if I had to say something like, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? Because it may not be in the book written that way, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow? I would have to be like this. Like that. I would have to start trying to figure out how to put the sentence together because it wasn't already put together for me in the book. But when did you wake up? I could flow with all that. So that was one of the drawbacks for me. But when you have a good teacher, they can expand that. They can expand your conversation where it's not as robotic. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you could get somewhere, but again, you're gonna have to be an extremely serious student. And one thing I like about Bania Dake, it has some sections of the Quran, but it doesn't translate it. So like that's one of the drawbacks in my Arabic right now. And to be honest with y'all, it's a drawback for a lot of people who can speak and have conversations. So let's say I'm listening to a khutbah, and the person giving the khutbah may say, Allah says in the Quran, right? And then he started running off some Quran ayats. I don't know what those Quran ayats are saying. Sometimes I do, and then sometimes I may catch a word or two in them, but I don't know what they are. And then if they don't references, Allah says in the Quran, ayah number 10 in surah number 7, if they don't do something like that, then I won't know what it is. And then sometimes, like if they quote a hadith, and let's say it's 15 words in the hadith, I may fully catch 12 or 13 of them. But it's enough for me to put it together, and because I'm so familiar with hadiths, it's enough for me to get a grasp and know what hadith they're talking about. But sometimes that word or two that's missing can change the whole entire meaning of the hadith. So you might miss a word or two, and then you come check the hadith, you might fill in the blank with the wrong word. You know what I'm saying? Because all it takes is a dot, a line, you know what I'm saying, sentence structure, that totally changed the whole intention of the hadith. So that's some of the little bit of weaknesses that I have. But me, alhamdulillah, being able to study with people who's fluent in Arabic and English, I'm not forced into classes that's just 100% Arabic. So it made me, I will admit, it made me a little lackadaisical. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I even seen, but I always have a yearly goal from one Ramadan to the next. So what I seen was this. I seen two things. And you'll learn this. When you don't use your Arabic, you lose it. In the very beginning, like Surah Al-Kafirun was like one of the first surahs that I learned while I was making salat. I tried to recite it. So as you learn more Quran, some of those short surahs you don't use anymore. Like you may not have recited them in 10 years. Outside of just a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember the last time I recited Surah Al-Kafirun. I didn't even know that I didn't remember it anymore. So like maybe 3 weeks ago, I'm in Salat and I'm trying to recite it, and I can't even remember how to start it off. Recite something else. Second rakat, tried it again, same thing. Recite something else. So the next prayer come in, I tried to do it again, and it still wasn't clicking, but I didn't want to look in the book. So then I went through that whole day. To the next day, it happened again for Fajr, but then when Dhuhr came in, it finally kicked in my head, and I was able to recite it. But when I recited it, I thought I still recited it wrong. Okay? So the same thing happened with the Arabic language. You may start off and you know this and you know these words, you know these conversations, and then you don't use them for a year or two, then you may forget it. But when you're reading it, you won't. When you're reading it, it's like, but somebody asks you a question, you might be like, You see what I'm saying? So due to that, that's why from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan, I'm back on memorization and going real hard on my Arabic. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's when you dealing with books of sciences and you reading and you fluent, you find, and then when you see words you don't know, you could just look at your dictionary. Bust your dictionaries out. But it's different when you're having a conversation. So know what you want to learn it for. And like I said, you know, in certain areas, learning Arabic, you know, you may have some classes at the masjid and they start people off with the Durus al-Lugat al-Arabiya, the Medina books, but some people don't even be making it through book 1. Because, you know, they be thinking if you learn the Medina books, you're going to be fluent at speaking Arabic. And no, it just helps you get your grammar together. You're going to be able to talk on a basic level, yeah. But, you know, you're going to be able to have some conversations, you know. But take it serious. Figure out what you want it for. And that's why they say make your intentions to want to understand the Quran and the science of Islam, the Quran and the Sunnah, like hadiths. Make that your intentions, because if you might learn conversational Arabic, which is a dialect instead of Fusha, and you won't be able to understand the books of Islam. You know, like you can see it's happened to me. I know of students who they in the Arabic program in Medina, and then they go learn some things, and then they leave and go to a restaurant and try to order some food, and the people can't understand them because they're speaking Fusha. You know, and that was one of my first shockers. Like I done seen an Arab from Yemen and an Arab from Jordan. And the Arab from Jordan I was able to talk to because he spoke Fusha, but him and the Yemeni dude, they couldn't really speak the Arabic to each other. They had to conversate in English. You know what I'm saying? To really have a good understanding and a firm conversation, he had to talk to him in English because of their dialects. It was a Somalian brother they brought in to do Tarweeh for Ramadan one month, right? And we took him to the little halal Muslim spot, and the brother was in the back or something, so he had his wife at the counter, and she couldn't really speak no English. Her English wasn't good, so it was difficult for us to get the order until he come back. But we figured, you know, the Somalian brother know Arabic, she know Arabic, and wallahi, I sat up and watched them have a whole conversation, and she couldn't understand him, and he couldn't understand her. And all that brother was trying to do was order like 6 wings, 2 pieces of fish, and some fries. And she couldn't understand it. And the way he said fish, the way he said chicken, I didn't understand it because I speak Fusha. But the way he said fish, I understood. I knew he asked for some fish. But anyway, so like with me, with the little bit of Arabic I had, I didn't know what she was saying. I only caught a word or two of what he was saying. The only stuff that I caught that she was saying was stuff like "and." You know what I'm saying? Or "men," or you know what I'm saying? Like from just a couple of your little transitional type words and phrases. But like him, some of the stuff I could, and like all three of us, but like me and him couldn't sit down and have conversations together. You know, basic stuff like, this is a bed, this is a car. You know what I'm saying? But you want to know what you want it for. You know what I'm saying? You want that Fusha, and you know what I'm saying? You want to get that Fusha in. So like I said, you could get to certain levels. You could get some of it in by yourself, but you're going to have to be serious. And doing it by yourself is going to let you know what type of student you is. Because like I say, you know, I've been a poor student and I've been an excellent student. You know what I'm saying? I started off a very poor student. I wasn't doing the homework. I wasn't taking it serious. And I was lagging behind. You know, I failed a couple of exams in the Arabic. You know what I'm saying? In Bani Yadek. You know what I'm saying? Thinking because I was able to read some stuff and understand some stuff, you know, I took it so lightly, like this stuff just basic, man. I could fly through this stuff. I already know the alphabet. I know this. I'm already reading. I'm looking at hadiths and putting stuff and translating. Nah, it's way more to it than that. So, inshallah, man, that'll help some people, man. And like I said, the Medina books, there's numerous people teaching them online. You can watch and listen to them. You know, I listen to several people just to see how they teaching. There's people doing Bani Yadek as well. And like I said, some of them might not say Medina books. They might have just Durus al-Lughah al-Arabiya. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically the Medina books. So yeah, alhamdulillah, man. But it's that time, man. We need some people to really step it up and start being serious about that Arabic, man. Because there's just some people that just don't see a need for it. Like for what? The The masjid don't even, in some cities, the masjid not even ran by Arabic speaking people, but they foreigners. They be speaking Urdu, Farsi. You know, they forms of Arabic. You know, so you looking at them, why y'all ain't got no Arabic classes? Because they foreigners. Because they can't speak Arabic. They speak Urdu. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to figure out something. And like I said, I'm starting to see some of these prices, and they outrageous, man. $200 a month. You know, $165 a month. You know, $20 an hour, $30 an hour through some of these sites. And then they lag you along to keep you in class. Like, you know, it's starting to become a hustle, man. You know, not for everybody. You know, $3,000 for the whole year. They want you to pay $1,700 up front, and then you might just be, you get in the class, and then you still just watching a lot of pre-recorded videos, you know, and then they have 1 or 2 days out the week where you meet in a group on Zoom, and then y'all have conversational Arabic, and y'all practice talking and listening, but it might be still just be so basic. And if y'all might have 10 people in there, and y'all in there for an hour, y'all don't really get to hold all these different conversations with each other. So, you know, some people, depending on how you learn, you know, that's a difficulty for them. So, as Americans, you know what I'm saying? You got you a couple bucks, or, you know, some of these books is on PDF. Pull them up on PDF. If you got Aleph Batar, and like I said, with the Medina books in the back, they have the English with the instructions. Look at the back and the Arabic, the English and the Arabic, and line it up and start trying to do the Medina books just to get your feet wet. Learn how to be a student. Learn how much studying you're going to have to do. Learn how much homework you're going to do. Test yourself. Give yourself exams. And then see how you do with it, man. And then try to find you know, some affordable classes, man, which probably going to be online. The cheapest classes I be finding, man, they be with people that's in India and Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? It's some teachers. You can find some good teachers in Egypt, man, that's fairly reasonable. But see, the time difference is so different. It's like a 9-hour time difference. So like the time when you might be able to study, it might be 2, 3 a.m. for them. They might be in bed. Or like with me, a lot of my classes was at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Get in class 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Then I got a break, an hour break, and then from 3 to 5, I'm in class again in a whole different subject matter. So, but we need more brothers, man, in the urban community, and sisters, man. We need people to learn the Arabic language, man. You know, we really need to be able to talk and conversate in Arabic, man. We've been slacking and lacking too long. So inshallah, man, that'll help, man, for people who want to do a little self-studies. Like I said, there's plenty of YouTube videos that you can follow along with the book. You can get it on PDF, you know, and that's a free way to get the book. And then it's a free way to listen to somebody in class and listen to several people. You know, sometimes their classes generally be 45 minutes or an hour. They might be longer, but you watching it on YouTube. Watch you 15 minutes of it, and then come back and pick back up where you left off and do another 15 minutes. You know, break it down, but get it in. You feel me? So, inshallah, man, that'll be some help and assistance to people, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.